So speaking of good and bad managers, it's really important to understand percentages when it comes to being a really good manager, because that is how we communicate about what is going on in our institutions. And that's kind of what we are actually doing. So I am not a math teacher. I will allow, or I will help guide you all with applying your math knowledge to the concepts discussed in this class. So please go back to the actual PowerPoint and go over, your percent review. If you are still a little shaky on this and you need a little bit more explanation, YouTube is actually fantastic at a lot of things. It's bad at other things, but it's really good. At any time that you have a question or you want to do a percentage review, type that in there. And there are many, many, many amazing math teachers and professors that would be more than happy to do this percentage review with you all, expressing, how you do the percentages, calculate them, how you carry over different things, talk about different examples, all that stuff. So while I put that into the PowerPoints for you guys to review, it is really just so that we can go and really talk about the formulas that we will be using in this class. So when we look at, expenses and expense percentages, this is kind of what we are focusing all of our formulas on. The concept that we are taking an expense and we divide it by what revenue we get from the products that cost that expense, and then we get the expense percentage, right? This is kind of similar when we talk about cost. And remember, cost and expense are used interchangeably. So you can also put, if you wanted to put cost and divided by sales, then you would get the same thing. You would just be using different terms, right? So when we're looking at, the expenses, obviously what we're trying to do and what we're trying to see is that the expense is smaller than the revenue, right? So then that will give us some sort of a profit. If that is not the case, then obviously we'll be incurring a loss. So that's something that we have to look at. So we can look at a percentage of profit, right? If we look at a profit, we divide it by our revenue, then that will give us a profit percentage. So all of these things we're talking about dollars and cents, right? There are other ways that we can modify these formulas because obviously math can be used interchangeably. I will always, whenever we're discussing something, I may be calculating something and applying my formula in a different way than you. And I will always ask you, can you explain your methodology? Because while our answers might be the same, I will ask, well, how did you get there? What were the steps? And we may get there a different way as long as we get there. So you can just know that all of your formulas obviously can be modified, right? This is another formula. This is another way that you could look at how we calculate our profit percentages. So we've now seen 3 different ways of how you can look at calculating a profit percentage. So the book does an absolute great job at explaining this. So please go through and make sure that you read it. Okay. This is when we talk about the holy grail of a restaurant or any of a hospitality operation. You will hear about food cost, right? Food cost is something that some managers or kitchen managers or chefs might make you believe is like brain surgery, but it's not. It's really quite simple. Food cost is essentially this. You look at how much you paid for food ingredients. So I am not including alcoholic beverages in this one. So you look at how much the food that you paid your vendors, let's say it's Cisco or Allen Brothers, whoever it is, you add up all of that and you say, this is my food cost. These are your receipts. All right. This is the way that you look at it. And then you look at your food sales. So how much did that food generate in sales? What did your customers pay? Okay. What was their bill? What did they pay for that food? So your cost is up top. Those are the receipts that you paid your vendors. And then down below are the food sales. What revenue, okay, did that food generate? Okay, so that's if you total up everything, all the bills that your customers have paid, that goes on the bottom. And that will give you the food cost percentage, okay? So let's take a look at something very, very simple. We're taking a look at whenever I make these examples, I must have been eating breakfast, Julie's Bagels. So we're looking at her revenue, her food revenue for all of 2020, right? So we're looking at her revenue from the year 2020. We see that her business, her bagel business, had $850,000 in food revenue, okay? Now her food costs for the year, so all the money that she paid for her flour and for her eggs and for her sugar and for her salt and all that, that totaled $53,500. Those were her total costs, right? So if we put that into our formula, then we actually see that her food cost was 0.31, but we have to put that into percentage. So it's 31%. So her food cost was 31%. So out of everything that she paid for, okay, she had to pay 31% just for the food, which means that she had the rest to pay for everything else, meaning her labor, your utilities, or whatever it is, before she potentially saw a profit. Now we're going to compare that to her 2021 food revenue, which was actually lower than her 2020. So her 2021 food revenue was $791,000, and her food cost was $232,345. If we put that into our formula, we actually find out that her food cost percentage was actually lower, which means that she had more money to spend, okay, in 2021 in comparison to 2020 on all of her other expenses and or potentially her revenue, okay? All right, we already mentioned the profit and loss statement, the P&L statement, and this is a financial statement that summarizes the revenues, costs, and expenses. There is a video that's posted in this module. Please watch it. It speaks about how to read a profit and loss statement, and it is very, very good. This is a very simplified the profit and loss statement for the purpose of an example. So any profit and loss statement will have the revenue up top. So this is for Dan's Steakhouse. Here is his revenue, okay? And then you will have all of your expenses that are listed. So here he has food and beverage costs, he has labor costs, and then he has other expenses, okay? So those are all the expense categories for Dan's Steakhouse. He only has 3, good for him. And then we were going to total up these expenses. Okay. So these 3, if we add them up, that's going to add up to $350,000. And we're going to look at the revenue. We're going to subtract the expenses. And then he's going to come out with a profit of $50,000. This is like the simplest way to look at it, but just giving you an example of how we actually look at the profit and loss statements. Now, obviously, we have to look at this as percentages, right? So a percentage, how do we break down percentages for a profit and loss statement? So up top, the 100% is the actual revenue, right? So everything is a percentage of the actual of the revenue that we actually incur, right? So that's something that we have to look at. So it's a percentage of the sales. So that's kind of where we're looking at, and that's where you're getting these percentages, applying that formula, looking at what percent of the 100 each individual category is. So we're going to do more of that in class, and you guys are definitely doing a lot of that in your homework assignment. That's due on Tuesday. Okay, so we could also look at his profit and loss statement. If you're looking at a pie chart, it obviously same thing. You could see that all of it is obviously the percentage of revenue. So all of it is considered the revenue. And then we're looking at what piece of the pie everything costs. Okay. So this is one way to look at your expenses. Okay. Now here are the common percentages used in all hospitality. You guys will actually have a nice sheet, nice list for every single chapter that will kind of total everything. But as you can see, all of our costs or our expenses are coming out of the revenue. Okay. So that's essentially a good way to remember that. When we're looking at profit and loss statement, the way that profit and loss statement is something that's occurring in real time. So that's something that we see, like I said, every single day in the first video. As our sales are coming in and our expenses are coming in, they are constantly fluctuating. And typically we're looking at a profit and loss statement for a month. Okay, that's typically what we do. Some businesses look at them quarterly, some look at them yearly, but for the most part, our profit and loss statement, it starts on the first of the month and it ends on the last of the month. And then it starts again on the first of the next month. What we do is we typically create these mock profit and loss statements. We call those the budgets, and budgets are educated guesses where we actually estimate revenues and expenses and also profits for any type of budgets, right? A budget is essentially an educated guess of what the future is going to look like for your business. And you have to incur things like, how does my business fluctuate on a holiday? How many Saturdays, how many Fridays are in the upcoming month, because that all impacts our business. We know that in most food service operations, we don't make as much money on Mondays as we do on a Friday, right? So we have to look at that. That makes a big thing. Budget is essentially a plan. So we look at, literally from the first of the month to the last of the month, how many people are going to be working on a Monday? How much do I pay them? So what is my labor expense going to be on a Monday, on a Tuesday, on a Wednesday, on a Thursday, right? And then how many of those are in a month? And that's how I budget for my labor. I can budget. I talk to my vendors. What is my, what are the seafood prices going to look like? What's my dairy price? What are my dairy prices going to look like? Then I go back to the previous month. How much milk did I order? How many eggs did I order? And then I can budget what I estimate my costs will be in each category. I do that for every single thing, literally toilet paper, right? How many cases of toilet paper will I need to order next month? And that's when I actually do a budget, right? Every single good manager, what their goal is to take their budget and then compare it to their actual numbers, which is then the profit and loss statement, and see what percentage of budget did they actually, what did the financials end up at, right? So that's called a percentage of budget. Now, your goal should always be to literally be as close to the budget and the actual as you can. Some people think, well, no, it's a great manager is one that blows his numbers out of the water, right? They predicted that they were going to have, or their budget was, $500,000 in sales and they did $1 million. That's amazing. They're amazing. No, they're actually terrible. Because if you didn't know that your sales were going to be that big, then you're equally as bad if it's the other way around, right? You have to know what your sales are going to be. Now, do crazy things happen? Absolutely. But for the most part, your sales are pretty steady. You'll see, it's pretty predictable. Here, this is an example of this Camp Eureka that they did. They have a weekly budget, and this is, they look at what their budgeted numbers are, what their actual numbers are, and then this shows you applying that formula, how close are they to, the budget versus their actual numbers, right? So obviously the goal is to be as close as possible to their numbers. There are some categories like labor right here. They actually went over. If you're over 100, that means you went over budget. If you're under, then you're under the budget. So it kind of gives you an example of that. So obviously, like I said, with the budget, the idea is to always be in line with actual numbers. When I worked for my restaurant company, this is how we were evaluated. This is literally, yes, you were evaluated by how well your restaurant did, all of that. But personally, we were evaluated by what budgets did we submit, and then how did our actual numbers compare to our budgets, because the company wanted to make sure that we understood our businesses, that we understood our expenses, that we understood how to predict how well, or sometimes we budget for losses, and we'll discuss that as well. So when that's not always, the goal is not always to budget for, a profit. Sometimes it is to budget for a loss too. Okay, that gives you the brief overview of what we're going to be doing in this class, Managing Revenue Expenses. Please read chapter number 1 and complete all your assignments.